Okay, I added the link to that document. Mhm. I think that's fine for this. Yeah, just to test it. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Hey, Manette. Are you able to unmute yourself? Oh,
Here I am, but then my face left.
where'd your face go?
Here I am. So you can see me, I can see you.
I see your words.
Okay, what about now?
Let's see. What do I need to do anything on my end? Let's see. Participants. Let's see. Promote to panelists. Let's see.
Okay,
Start video.
there I am.
There you are.
Yay. Hi, Matt.
Hi. Wonderful.
Yay. Thank you for my birthday message. That was so much fun.
That was cool.
This is very silly.
It was silly.
I like that. So we're being fancy today, huh?
Yeah, we're whole hog.
Okay.
So are you gonna play moderator?
I am playing the moderator and I have some, just some fake questions in mind so you can get an idea of what conversation will be like. Hey, I know you.
Just want to say hi. I forgot my name.
That was funny.
Cool. So I'll tell everybody when they hop on too, but so basically I'm going to mute myself and stop my video, and then I'll use the chat.
Okay.
I'll say like, so I don't know.
But I should not respond to you with the chat. I would say like, I've got a question coming in from Matt right now.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
he'd just like to say hello.
So I'll say like, question from Victoria.
There's Beth.
Hey, Minette.
Hey, Beth.
I'm going to, let's see.
Did you have a good birthday, Minette?
I did. I was just thanking Matt for his lovely birthday message, the sing-along. That was really fun. Oh, someone's calling
Yesterday
me.
was.
I'll tell her to happy birthday.
Spam. Hate spam. Yeah, but it was good. We did a Zoom call with all of my friends who live in other places yesterday evening. And then in the morning, we went out to the Oakmont Bakery and I bought more baked goods than anyone should have in the house at the same time. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, and just enjoyed not being at work. Even when you're at home, you're still at work. So not having this going on for 2 days was really nice. Really nice.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a nice birthday.
Thank you.
How's Pittsburgh Girls Study going?
Well, it's going. There's a lot of little bits and pieces and everything's all over the place. I'm still trying to, yeah, it's going. I've done some of the interviews already. I've done a few. I've got a couple of more lined up. One's going to be a Zoom interview because the woman's at a university in Texas. She's at the Georgetown Law Center or something. And the other woman is a professor. They're both professors at the University of Pittsburgh. So Friday I had the lady whose name I can't remember right now, Blake, Sharon Blake in the media office at Pitt send me possible outdoor locations where we could do an interview down at Pitt so you could still have like the backdrop of it. So my plan is to tomorrow morning, like just get in the car, drive around and like investigate the 4 places she suggested and see if there's how doable they would be to set up a microphone. I mean, because the one Sarah Goodkin who wrote the original report talking about like all the detrimental statistics about how much they're channeled into the juvenile court system and how often they're suspended from school and how it reverberates throughout their entire lives. She's in the School of Social Work at Pitt and that office is in the Cathedral of Learning. But you know what Fifth Avenue is like. But Sharon thought there might be a nice little quiet spot in between the cathedral and Heinz Chapel. So I'm just going to go down there tomorrow, like take an hour to walk around to all the different locations that she suggested and see where the best place would be to, throw up a
Yeah, you have to
microphone.
be
Well,
away from traffic
I'm gonna
sound.
pause for one
Yeah.
second because
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think we're gonna be starting in just a couple minutes.
Okay.
So like I was telling Manette, Beth, okay, so the video's starting now. It's gonna be really short, like 2 minutes. So we'll just, I'll just give you like a cue, like a go
Mm-hmm.
in the chat box.
Okay.
And Manette, you can take it away.
Okay.
I'll feed you questions as Renee sends them to me.
Okay.
And then she can cue me as we want to wrap up, or if it kind of naturally wraps up, whatever. This
Okay.
is just going to be a couple minutes of banter to, mostly the technology and see how it looks and feels and
Is
everything.
Mr. Solomon joining us?
I thought so, but
Okay.
perhaps
He's
not.
probably stuck on another call. So video first, then you'll cue me, and then we'll just start talking.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to mute myself and
Okay, I see Manette and Beth, and I see a blank person for WQED conference. That's all I see.
Okay. Matt was on before, and now the video is rolling. For Beth, I see anything. Can you see it? So after the video finishes, Matt's going to cue us. He will not be visible on screen, and then we'll start the mock conversation.
Yeah, the whole thing looked different to me when I logged on. Like nothing was the same. I had to scroll around a lot to find the usual, how to turn it into a grid. Everything just looked a little different to me. So it's like I came in through a different door.
I think it's because it's a webinar and not the usual Zoom meeting. I think.
And I see a little live on YouTube in the upper right corner. Now I see.
All right, we are go now. So that means we're supposed to start talking. Hi, I'm Minette Seat, and I'm here today with Beth Dolinar and David Solomon, and we're here to talk about this mock rehearsal for Trailblazers. David Solomon is the executive producer of WQED, and Beth Dolinar is a producer and writer and on-screen talent. Before we get the audience involved, David, why don't you tell us about what the motivation was and how the Trailblazers event came about?
Well, I think what's most important to me is that everybody has red on in all of them, has red on, and or at least in the background. So yes, the motivation for the Trailblazers event was that Sharon Steele thought she could get some money for this, and she did. So that's why we're here, and we hope to have this mock event, the real event on September the 17th, I believe, and we will be looking uh, to round out the panel with some other folks who were well versed on the issue of not only the film that you will be showing, but also what it means to vote in the 2020 election and why coming to the polls is more important than ever.
Okay, that sounds great.
My take on it.
All right. Beth, you are the producer and the brains behind the Trailblazer digital series. Tell us what that series is designed to do.
We're asking mostly young women, teenagers, to select somebody either living or deceased, a woman who has blazed a trail and who has done something that nobody has done before. And so we are going to do 1-minute vignettes where we bring the students into the studio and they tell us why they were inspired by that woman. And some examples are Alma Speed Fox, who is known as the mother of Pittsburgh civil rights. Marie Torrey, who was the first female newscaster in Pittsburgh and who went to jail because she would prefer sitting in jail for 10 days than to reveal a source. And a number of others. We have Rachel Carson, who was the first environmentalist, and she was from Pittsburgh. And so we'll be rolling out 6 of these over the next several months, and each one will be a minute long. They will be broadcast, but also on the web, and they will just allow young women to say who inspired them in the vote and in general moving life forward for women.
All right, sounds great. It sounds like it's keeping the whole movement alive and well here in the city and every place else. So don't know how much longer we're going to do this little demonstration, but I guess this would be the time when the other folks would be here and I would turn to them and say like, so Angela from the YWCA, tell us what you think it means to be part of a Trailblazer or something like that, or maybe go straight to one of the young ladies or the League of Women Voters person or the filmmaker.
Hey, I have some technical questions while they're top of mind. I have a lawnmower going on outside, and I was wondering how obtrusive that was. Were you guys able to hear it at the time? It's gone now, but it was going pretty loud before.
I heard a slight hum, but I didn't know what it was.
And then the other thing would be is I don't know what my lighting looks like, but Manette's is pretty good. Beth is pretty dark, so we might give a little tutorial to the participants on how to properly light themselves. What does mine look like from your vantage point?
It looks like you have overhead lighting in a room with a lot of light surfaces, Dave.
Yeah, and the white door behind you is kind of giving you a bounce, so you look very, very almost overlit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if I do this, which is the lamp on my desk.
Much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I have just a little lamp coming in from the side over there. There's no light over my head. There is overhead lighting, but it's farther away in another part of the room. So when I look at this, and I guess maybe Matt can type in notes if we can't hear him. What I see on screen right now as a viewer is I see Manette, I see me, I see Beth in a 4 square, and the other square says WQED conference, and it is a black screen with a little white figure in it. Is that what the people at home who tune in will be seeing as well?
I don't know. Matt could answer that, but my guess would be no, because usually the person who's running the conference and the chat is like this, just out, not seen anywhere, visually or otherwise, and things just emanate from him.
So what do you see when you look at your computer screen right now?
Same thing. I see Beth up in the upper left. I'm next to Beth. You're in the bottom underneath Beth. And then there's a square that says WQED conference.
If we see it, what will people who are just regular audience members see?
Let me see if I can get the chat up and type in a question. Hey, Matt, we see the WQED conference, block and letters.
I'm using an iPad. I don't know what you guys are using.
Okay, if you guys go to chat, can you see that question?
Let me see if I even,
No, I don't see the question. I see that Matt wrote, "We are go."
Okay.
but I don't
Okay, so
see
it says from me to WQED conference privately, so maybe nobody can see what we write to him.
I have a tab that I press on that says Q&A, but when I open it, I get a big box that says no open questions. Only host and panelists can see the questions.
Okay,
Mhm.
Matt just wrote back, he wrote, viewers see as if it's speaker view, so they only see one person at a time. The person talking.
So will the viewers never see the entire square grid of everybody?
That
I'm
seems,
typing that in.
that seems weird and wrong.
Because I think you want to see people's reactions and
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to see just the person talking. I want to see, I want to see when I say, Minette, you're totally off base with that remark. I want to see how she.
Yeah, you want
is
me to see like,
Yeah, I think that's weird and wrong. And when I've seen it done elsewhere, you do see
you see the
multiple people in the grid.
exactly.
So
Okay, here's what I just wrote to Matt. Will the viewers never see the entire view with everyone? We'd prefer to see everyone at once.
well, at least the panelists.
Well, I don't,
what,
So if I'm just a regular Joe viewer
mhm.
who joins, I see, let me try experimenting. If I'm regular Joe viewer, how am I watching this thing? I'm watching it through Obi, correct?
That's what I understand.
So I would like as a viewer to see a grid.
Or YouTube, because it says it's live on YouTube also. So that might be the other way you would watch it.
I'd like to be able to see the host and the panelists surrounding her. And the only way the general public gets in is if they post a question and you choose to use it, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
And we would never see the public posing an on-screen question.
My understanding is those questions will all be curated by Matt. But I can ask him that question too.
Me and Renee jointly will be curating the questions. He just typed that in.
Okay, okay.
So I think right now he's
viewers-
experimenting on how to get multiple heads up on the screen of the panelists.
Okay.
So, and this is a situation, Minette, I'm thinking where you've got more panelists than we will have 4 squares. So at
Yes.
some point, you could just ignore them if you viewers see as if it's speaker view. So you only see the one person at a time, the person talking, correct? Let me try experimenting. Me and Renee. You could just ignore them if you want. I don't know what that means. Questions, I guess. I think my most pressing concern would be, as a viewer tuning in, I want to see the host and all the panelists surrounding her.
Yes.
Because it gives you a sense of who else is part of this.
Right. Absolutely. No, because if, I asked Beth a question about, the young women and how the Trailblazers influence them. And then the woman from, say, League of Women Voters wants to say, and that's how, this movement has always worked. One woman inspires another woman, blah, 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 blah. Like you're going to want to have that interplay between the people who are on the panel and the information that's happening, that's being exchanged, right?
even if that means we give up the speaker view option, in which, when somebody's speaking, that's the, they take over the screen. I would prefer, even when somebody's speaking, they are still just one in the whole mosaic, right? Instead of
Right.
when somebody, because otherwise, if you have an interplay between people, you're going to be having a lot of, Minette's full screen and then David's full screen. And then you're losing
Right.
aspect of the whole thing. So, I say it would be okay if we gave up the speaker view option.
Yeah, and use the grid only option.
Only, yeah.
Let's wrap up in just a couple of minutes. I'll stop the live stream, but we can chat and exchange notes.
Okay, sounds good.
So are we disconnecting from here or staying on?
I guess we're going to stay on because he can come back and talk.
Stay
Stay
on
on Zoom, he just wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I did the other one of these that I moderated for PBMF, I was on screen at the same time as the 4 panelists.
Mhm.
So, and they were able to interact, like Mike Logan would say something about like coaching African-American boys and blah, 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 and being a father figure. And then this other guy, Lee, would jump in and says like, I've been doing this work in the Mon Valley for this amount of years. And so that kind of stuff was really important to the discussion because it was over an hour and a half, and it kept you from having to always have a fresh question to ask because everybody could bring their experience to the conversation.
You want to see Buddy? Do you want to see Buddy?
Yeah.
There he is right there with his little hood on.
Oh.
Aw. Is that because of his tail, Dave?
Yes, he keeps, just when we think it's healing a little bit, he pulls it, he
Oh,
eats it and breaks the scab open and wags his tail, and then blood goes splattering all over the walls.
So he's in the cone of shame.
Yes.
He's
You
like
know
some
what?
Monty Python movie, blood everywhere. Just
He does
You know
act like
what?
he's dead.
Poor thing. Our dog, our collie he's going to have that. He's going to be neutered in a couple weeks because he's literally eating our walls.
Oh,
He's scratching holes in the drywall or whatever, and he's eating chunks out of the wall. So he's going to have the cone of shame too. Poor
wow,
buddy.
he's really got some sexual energy he needs to get rid of, doesn't he?
You have no idea.
Oh my God.
well, he, when my son Michael came to visit the other day, we thought he was well on his way. He got so excited to see him that he whacked his tail against the wall and split it open again. And, again, blood got all over everybody's shorts and legs. And so we're trying to keep his excitement levels to a minimum and get this thing to heal. He did go back to the vet for a follow-up, and they feel that it should heal and they won't need to amputate that part of the tail. But it's, who knew that a slamming storm door could cause so much damage?
It looks like they've improved the cones because the last ones I saw were those white plastic ones. This one looks like it's softer.
That's what they gave him, and he hated it. In fact, he wouldn't go to sleep at night. He sleeps on the main floor. We don't let him go upstairs to the bedrooms with us. But he had the clear plastic circular cone, and it's big. And he was just standing in the middle of the floor quivering. He didn't want to lay down with it. So Marilyn sent away for this one, which was on, Amazon or something. And it's a softer, more plush material. We did try to get him one that was like an inflatable donut that looked more like something he would sleep on a plane with, but he could circumvent it and still reach his tail when he was wearing it. It was very comfy. He even used it as a little pillow, but he could still reach his tail with it.
It's hard being a dog. I mean, I don't know personally, but I could imagine.
So if he can be good for like a week, he has a good chance of it just like, scabbing over, and if he can just literally just leave his ass alone, he'll be okay.
Yeah. But even if they had to amputate, his tail is this long. He would probably only lose this bottom tip of his tail. So he would still have a sizable tail. And they say the amputations are much easier to heal because they have a controlled stump, if you will, that they can suture properly. But when you're dealing with a jagged tear, which is what he has, it's really hard to stitch it and to heal it.
How old is Buddy?